Hi, welcome here to Queen of the Main House event where we're celebrating women. This is Egi Mabedle, aka Queen of the Main House. As I'm hosting the Imbogoto today, who we're going to talk about stuff that affects women, things that we don't want to talk about, that we think when we're out there, we don't undergo those things, which is, first of all, the depression, which Vutomi Tshabalala is going to talk about it, our beautiful Vutomi, and our gorgeous, righteous, she was married for 5 months. Her marriage lasted only for 5 months. Can you beat that? As a woman, young as she is, our gorgeous, beautiful lady in Nkateko, she's a rape survivor, drug addict, and overcome depression. So welcome all of them today. Good day, ladies. Me right. You look so beautiful. This Women's Month, yeah. You know, women, like we're celebrating August as a Women's Month, so it's still actually women must be celebrated throughout the year because they're going through a lot. But like, because we have specific month, which is August, and then we saw it fit like a Queen of the Main House, Gore, we must host these beautiful women, and then so that they can talk and teach young girls out there that are going through the same thing, and find help where it's needed, and then so that we can be able to teach others. You don't have to be ashamed of what you have went through, like, because look, you tend so today I'm going to give Vutomi a chance so that she can introduce herself properly, and then I say, who is this beautiful woman? Who is this Vutomi Tshabalala?
Thank you for having me here.
Okay,
my name is Vutomi Tshabalala. I hail from the tropical town called Zanini, all the way from Limpopo, and I'm 27 years old. So when I was 12 years old, I was in a boarding school, and la boarding school so it just so happens one Friday I went out to a mall with my friends, and usually procedure is that parents have to inform the school before they come to visit. So with me that day, my dad did not inform the school. So then later on, I was really sad that I did not get a chance to see my dad because I was daddy's little girl. And I tried to call him back. Growing up, we had a happy childhood. We were united friends. But unfortunately, when I got back, I tried to call him. His phone was just ringing. It didn't go through. And the following day, my uncle came to visit to fetch me from school, and that is when I later learned that he drove home and he committed suicide by hanging. For me, that left a huge void in my heart, because as you can imagine, I often questioned and wondered, have he found me at school? Had I been there, would I have been able to prevent prevent him from committing suicide? And with someone who does not leave a note when they die, it's like you sort of have to play the guessing game. And the family, there was a lot of quarrels. I saw people pulling themselves. I was exposed to a lot of quarreling within the family, from relatives, Banvajika against my mom, and that really left a void in me. What people do not realize is that when they commit suicide, the pain does not go away. Instead, they transfer it to the next person. And unfortunately, from the first person who happens to find you in the state that they find you in, and in our case it was my mom, she is left with a permanent scar, something that we can never heal. And I also took on the burden and the pain of trying to figure out why he did it. And I used to blame myself. I should have stayed at school. I never should have gone out. And for me now, it took months to come back to reality, but eventually through the help of the psychologist, through the help of the school. Something at that time, I was going through something bad, and the adults identified it and they got me help. I didn't have to do anything, but after a few months, it felt like someday I just snapped out of the pain. So that was my first experience with depression. Through suicide. I think I still wonder, had he died any other way, maybe it would have been something else. But suicide. And I think throughout the years, it's something I kept at the back of my head. I'll never commit suicide. I'll never do anything. Until a day after I turned 14, I met a boy. I started dating. And and it seemed like we became best friends. It was, for me, that was true love, honestly speaking. And 9 years later, we were still pushing. He was my best friend. He was my first on so many levels, not what you're thinking. On so many levels, he was my financial advisor, and he was everything good in my life. And he did not cover any void that I had in my life. He just came and opened a new bracket in my heart. He owned his own space. So we went to the same church, same high school, same university, and later on in life we even started working for the same company. And one month shy of our 9-year anniversary, we finally got married. And a few months later, I gave birth to our first child. I mean, my life is a fairy tale. And having experienced trauma at an early age, I was that stubborn. I thought I deserve everything good happening in my life. I mean, for the most part, I was well behaved, and I thought, this is it. I've made it in life. But unfortunately, as much as we can plan all that we plan, 10 months after 9 years of dating, 10 months of marriage, I picked up my bags and I left. From the moment my son was born, I experienced a series of traumatizing events, from being taken to Sangomas by a family I met in church, to being but that is what I was exposed to. My in-laws. And the local one get to listen to Sambabo. I don't think I'm jail, but not organize the marriage. They thought I was too good for them because I refused to. At that time, I was trying to refuse to listen to the vulgar language that was being used. Everything about me was questioned. Yes, I was old enough to make a baby, but I was not old enough to raise that child. I was old enough to be their child's wife, but that was questioned. My husband gaining weight.
Okay. You know, I believe, Kore, it's not a man who was doing that to you. It's a woman. Why? Like, I mean, she was avoiding calls. Kore, and then now, like, when things are happening in your marriage, like waruketeri was still. Is it a man? Can you maybe clarify that? Akurba nona both men and women, or just women?
In my experience, the Bible says when a man and woman get married, the man is going to leave his mother and father. The woman is also going to leave her mother and father, and they two become one. In my case, I left my mother and my family, but I now was put in a situation whereby I had to merge in their family. Yes, I could but he allowed it. He was the man of the house. I did my part. He was supposed to do his. So as much as he also had a role to play as a husband. So and he allowed it. He should have protected me.
He didn't protect you. He didn't protect you.
He didn't protect me. Everything he ended, but we get it was the way I was more comfortable wearing shorts at his house than I was at my house. Then all of a sudden it's like it's logo say unlogorile, not even logo say unlogorile, logo say jatile. It becomes but when did it happen? Throughout the 9 years, this is the love language you were communicating to me. Now this I tshama swin'we kusukela university, as you can imagine I tlanga mandwana a university a no swekela ni endla everything ku ri a ni swi koti ku sweka ta va swi tive at that time a ri na 9 months ka ri tshama swin'we already before it tekana ku ri ni sweka thaka a fana swi tivile. Now all of white now hi mhaka ku ni lovorile, and that is something that sometimes he would tell me aku ni yime 9 months a ni yimela swo leswi
ni 9 years
hinkwayo. And even then ana ha ku va na n'wana mi kuma sometimes u lava ku hi engage kamareni ni karhele na twa ku vava a ni byela ku tsundzuka we're staying close to Alex a hi tshama Brain. He used to tell me, I remember I have a car and there's a college close by here in Alex. I can go park my car there and I can have any girl I want. I used to complain saying that I'm tired of the domesticated work in the house. He never got me, he didn't get me a helper at that time. So it was easier for him to tell me he can get me a helper in the bedroom than it was for him to get me a helper in the kitchen. Those are the kind of words I was being told. But the final straw for me, the final thing that really led me to say I'm picking up my bags, even after 9 years of thinking I know this person, of building with someone and thinking this is it, I've made it in life. There was one weekend, it seemed like it was a series of bad things happening in 1 week. Manamina vitwa shilo, akutiva shilo leshiya, and namina I allowed it. Let me keep quiet. There was drama, and I was put in a situation where I have to choose between my mother and my family, and I chose my husband. Your presence in my life is affecting my marriage. I remember that phone call very well. Barila, but someone. Now. On a Friday, it was nice. Then he just went out. So it's someone who doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, and for the first time in his life, he went out without telling me. Even though things were not rosy between us, we did not fight. He went out, he didn't come back. Around midnight, I started making phone calls, calling different people. No one had heard from him. Eventually, 7 a.m., I go to the police station to open a missing person file. And I remember the police, when I got there, they were laughing at me. They're like, he's a man. You know, maybe he went to sneak in Yana Snake and fell asleep. Give him time until 12 o'clock. Give him a chance to wake up. So eventually, at 12 o'clock, he was still not back. And I went to open my first missing person case file. And I remember the police giving me a list of mortuaries around the area that I first needed to check, and hospitals. But I was holding a 6-month-old baby at that time. I'm not strong enough to go looking at mortuaries. And as we were walking out of the police station, I remember I received a phone call from the very same woman. I'm not but I found the courage to stop. No, ma'am, whatever you heard about me, assume it's true. Now what? And later on, when he did come home, after calling so many people, doing a lot of things, after so many hours of him coming home, that was meant to have been the Sunday, because he came back Saturday around, we found him eventually around 5 p.m. And there is no one from his side of the family who said anything to him. Even with him, when he eventually came home, he never said anything to me. I'm sitting here today. Even with everything that we had been through, I was not even worthy of an explanation. I was almost, had something happened to him after him. I was 23 years old at that time. Look,
you'd be at fault like your mother.
I would be at fault like my mother was. For me, look, when I take the bag, finally, look, once again, the phone calls kept on coming back. I remember the Thursday, look, when Paka, a phone call from a relative, female relative. Look, the problem. That statement, what does it mean?
You want to
kill
him?
I want to kill him. I'm 23 years old. I love this man with everything that I have.
Even went to the police station to report.
But you are thinking I'll do that. I have a 6-month-old baby. I'm not funeral police, not one funeral police. Why would I hurt him? For me, that was the final breaking point. I packed up my bags. Send a message, look, I'm leaving. Within a millisecond, I still have those messages. I go, okay. And that was it. For me, another month that followed by it was a confirmation. He just didn't want to be the one to say it's over. And I'm committed like I said, I'm telling you one. For me, that marriage ruined our lives. because we had 9 beautiful years. But 10 months, that's all it took.
Sure.
10 horrible months. I still remember each and every single horrible word they've told me. And I've learned to forgive. An apology I never received. And that's not even the worst case. Loko yambanile. The same people labang cause trauma. They started rumors ka community kuri mina alam dla ngwana kwa. Mina na lawyer. For the many years the many years I khongela papa mina kuri mfundisi. I chose him for myself. I decided to take on that. Loko nkhongela ntibutisa ku impela ani lawyer. Abanzondo kufika kwalana. Me loving that child, was it that bad? It came to a point whereby a day in October, I lose the weight, I come lose the weight, in my face, I'm going to leave the room. I kept quiet. I never responded. One day in October, I social media and I saw a picture of on a vacation. Nifambe July. It was not wrong to move on. Nipeke let the beg and family. But mina anga ready. Anga seru amkela kuruloko nuku I'm leaving uku okay. Indeed you were okay. You were okay. It's 9 years. Nothing. Nothing.
He never called.
No, kupanamwana, yes. But me. It's me he didn't want, not the child.
Yeah, like that's what women are going through. And then manguta urna mafuranga akho aondile. It was a sign. Those are the sign of like someone who's going through a lot. And then because she was attacked by family members, people that you think kore lokubak jatili, because they must receive you as their child. But look at what they're doing to her. They just want to crush her. In every way, like they crushing her, banglumbeta buloyi, banglumbeta kurula kudlangwa na wabona, bangzela kuranga kotu kusweka. Women, we go through a lot, so the depression kicks in. Nkombela kore uyibzela kore depression yawe na yikike injani. How did you say now na depression? Usubone njani? Or look ulaba commit suicide. What triggers you to commit that briefly? Because
for me, knowing suicide, knowing that knowing what suicide had done in my family, I always told myself I'll never go to that school. But one thing I've realized, even everyone around me, because of the anxiety previously, I told myself I'm out of the toxic situation. So right now, every time I phone I stopped answering phone calls. Nite isolated from Banu, especially my mother. But I was like, but I cut you off my life. I'm not worthy of your love. Never push her away. And I was trying to protect the band. Honestly speaking, it was killing me inside. But I thought, so as long as it's not coming from his mouth, it's okay. But it's not. And finally, like now, there were so many things. The signs were always there. I tried to go to counseling. Niti isaka psychology depression. No man, a strong lady never. Nijinja psychology. And eventually the day I got a picture, no one got social media. I was not ready. I remember Nurila so much. I got out of the office in drive and I was looking at that picture over and over again, and it didn't get better. After months of crying myself to sleep each and every single night, after months of listening to friends, his friends telling me, what is just a phase? Wabu, you're hanging there. And they were the same people that went on a vacation with him. They took pictures. It was killing me. That hope. And just like that, they took it away. 9 years. Maybe I'm going crazy. 10 years versus 9 months. This cannot be happening. And if the pain was so hard, I was driving around. I was like, no, I can't breathe. It's too much. I just told myself, you know what? Got the next bridge. I'm one person. I told myself I'll never commit suicide. But that day I was just driving and I'm like, I'm tired. I can't breathe. The next bridge I'm going to find, I'm just going to drive over. And I found myself in Randbeck. I don't know how. or when, but just as I was approaching that bridge, more than me, I saw the problem, and na phone I mean, I really non-stop because that made me break down even more. Marathon more by team just before a bridge. I need one bridge the N1. I was ready, but that day God saved me. And with everything, the land to Kumaningena Arema Bible Church. Because the bridge after that,
I know, I visualize where you took
Bible Church. Look, my name is Vutomi Tshabalala. I'm not a member of your church. I probably will never be, but I'm saying, Uri, I'm not okay. If you let me get out of here right now, chances are that you'll find it, you'll read a story about me in the front cover tomorrow. And they took me in. Those words changed my mind. It is the responsibility of a husband. The husband is the head of the family, and when your responsibility as a wife is to follow your husband. So you followed. He is the one who led you in the wrong path. In the eyes of God, you have no sin. That made all the difference to me. After so many months of beating myself up, nothing but I stood there Shilo. It still didn't work out. All those things mean I was failing to live with myself. It was easier for me to forgive everyone else, but to forgive myself, that was the hardest thing. I did a lot of things to get myself help and take a break from social media. I cut it off anyone and everyone that was a connection to us because they were giving me false hope. I didn't need hope. I needed to face reality. I am not okay. How do I go on after planning 9 years? I was still a kid. Everything around us, our plans were revolving around us. There was never a me. Now, for the first time in a long time, there is me. And I needed to find me, fix me, and work towards me. And that was my determination and focus. It took me 2 years to finally go through the process. It took me 2 years to stop, to finally go to bed and not cry myself to sleep. But eventually, I healed.
Yeah, we thank God for that. We thank God. One thing that I've picked up, Ore, I have to realize, Ore, there is no marriage anymore. It's I'm all by myself. You know, when do we say there is no marriage anymore? Because she tried. You tried to save that marriage, and the good try, I'll shift everyone. You know, even your mother, a person that you need the most in your marriage, your mother. But you shifted her. You turn like bending backwards to save the marriage. Yeah. Okay.